All right, first and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and who is worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely in flow of the gospel. It's the brother Gabari from the Indiana camp coming back at you with another sit down. I'm gonna entitle this we're gonna continue sounding like a broken record. All right. I might change the title up. I don't really like that title now. Say it out loud, but whatever the spirit allows me to, get, I'm gonna get. But anyways, that's basically what the subject of the video is gonna be about. About us sounding like a broken record. All right, because guess what, man? We're gonna continue saying and continue teaching the same thing. All right, and sometimes we might go into something. We might go into the mark of the beast for a month straight, or we might go into reincarnation for a couple weeks, or going into the hey, listen, that's just how it is, man. All right, that's the patience that we have to endure until Yahweh Bashem Yahushua comes back. All right. I was also scrolling and I was just seeing, certain videos, and if I was on the outside looking in, I would be like, well, damn, it seems like these guys are always talking about the same exact thing. And the way that, and basically, yeah, you see, we basically, yeah, we do talk about that. We talk about the same thing over and over again. All right. We go into the name. We go into how these other groups are off, you know. We go about who is Esau Edom, hey, it's all about the elect. 2/3 of Israel is going to be destroyed. The mark of the beast. All right, America being destroyed. 2/3 of our people being killed. The Lord only coming back to save 1/3. The Lord is only coming back to save Israelites. All right, everybody else is going into slavery. Death, destruction, and famine is coming upon this place. All right. If you ain't got the 100% truth, you will be destroyed. All right. So after so many years, after so many videos and of doing these topics, you would think, it was like, well, damn, you would think these guys were going to something else or doing that. That's the beauty about the truth, is because the truth is always forever learning. All right. And it's always forever growing. So we might have find another source of way to bring out the truth, but it's always going to be the same exact message every single time. Even this video I'm doing right now, saying, hey man, listen, we're going to sound like a broken record. This is just a call out on all the videos that we do. Every single video that we do is gonna be a video that we have done probably previously in the past. All right. Matter of fact, the scripture says, let me go and grab it right quick. So I could bear with me for a minute. This is 24 and 21. This is Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 21. It says, "My son, fear thy Lord and the king." It says, "And meddle not with them that are given to change." Given, I thought it said subject. Okay, It says, "And meddle not with them that are given to change," man. And that's what basically going to guys who's always constantly changing their mind or changing the doctrine. All right. One year is talking about this, the next year is talking about something completely different. All right. And the thing is, once you change your doctrine in one aspect, you're gonna have to change it somewhere else. All right, or it's not gonna make sense. Okay. Because if you change one little thing, then you have to change it somewhere else. It's almost like a machine. If you take a component out or a screw looses here, guess what? It's gonna make the whole machine not work. It's not gonna make the whole machine not be work properly. All right, which means you're gonna have to change some other stuff around to make the machine work. All right, so it's no such thing as you just changing this one little thing and it's like a hairline. It's not really gonna be seen, or it's not really going to be of importance. No, you change one little thing and that's gonna throw everything off, man. That's why reason why we say we have 100% truth. All right, we're not giving it to change. We're gonna keep teaching the same exact thing over and over again. All right, from day one. So if you hear us going to the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast is always going to be the RFID microchip. All right, it's always going to be that. We're not going to change that. All right. If you hear us talking about Esau, Edom is the so-called white man, it's always going to be that. We're not going to change it. All right. We're not going to change who Jacob and Esau is, who the Ishmaelites are, who the Moabites and the Hamites is. All right. We're not going to change Babylon being America, aka is a byword for America now. All right. We're not going to change that. Scripture says, "Give not unto change." Let's look at this in the NLT. It says, "My child, fear the Lord and the king. Don't associate with rebels, for distress will hit them suddenly." All right, that's really ain't really hitting us. So let's NIV. It says, fear the Lord, the king. It says, "Fear the Lord and the king, my son." It says, "Do not join with rebellious officers, for those two will send sudden destruction upon them, and who knows the calamity they bring." Let's get American Standard Version. It says, "My son," it says, "fear Jehovah and the king." It says, and accompany not with them that are given to change, for their calamity shall rise suddenly." It says, "And the destruction from them both whom knoweth it." That's pretty much on point. So whole point of the matter is, man, you're not supposed to keep changing. Matter of fact, you're not supposed to change at all. All right. Well, you're supposed to teach what was taught to you. All right. And there isn't no room for changing, because if you teach what that was taught to you, you're passing down the knowledge that was given unto you, that was entrusted into you, on down to the next brother. All right. So you're not supposed to sit here and go and change certain things. The scripture talks about adding and taking away. Man, let me grab that real quick. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 19. It says, "And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy," says, "Yahweh shall take away his part out of the book of life." See, so you're not supposed to take away, any of these prophecies that we're preaching about. So if the elders, the apostles, the bishops teach unto you certain prophecies and certain breakdowns, you're not supposed to take those and like, well, I ain't gonna say this part, and I'm gonna take this part out, and I ain't gonna mention this. No, man, because you're taking away from the prophecy, man. All right. And because of that has a punishment for it. So you're supposed to go and teach what was taught unto you, like the elder brother Jeremiah from the Chicago camp. If you brothers don't know, his page is called GMS, GMS teach what was taught. You know, basically teach what was taught to you. That's what you're supposed to be teaching. All right, that's why the scriptures calls us rivers of living water. All right, because and what was water do? Water flows. So if a brother's teaching unto you, y'all, a brother is flowing what he knows, the out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. If he's flowing water unto you, then guess what? You're supposed to flow it into the next brother, and it's supposed to constantly flow on down. All right, that's the whole reason why it's flowing, you know. But what if you switching up the doctrine, if you changing stuff, then guess what? Then you're corrupting the water. The water can't be drinkable no more. You know, it almost reminds me of that game Telephone. You know, where if you brothers know the game Telephone, is basically you take about anywhere between 10 to 15 to 20 people, and you whisper one word into one person's ear, and then they're supposed to whisper it all the way down into the last person. All right, so if you have like 20 people, you whisper one word into one guy's ear, and then he's supposed to take that message and takes it all the way down to the person at the end, and the person at the end yells out what the message was. And 9 times out of 10, majority of the time, the message isn't what was intended. The message, you could say the sky is blue, and all the way down, it can be some bugged out stuff, or like the ice cream that I like, is grape flavored. You'd be like, what the hell? That's not what I said. So that's why it shows you the importance of this message that we're bringing, and you're supposed to teach what was taught to you. You're supposed to keep it pure and holy. All right, you're supposed to keep it how can I say sacred. You're not supposed to go add and take away and change the doctrine as it seems fit to you, or I don't like this part, or I like the white man, so I ain't gonna teach that. You're not supposed to change the doctrine because of things that you don't like, or things that you like about it. Oh, I don't like this, so I'm gonna just change this and add this into there. That's not how the truth was intended to be taught. All right. You're supposed to take the knowledge. You're supposed to take the knowledge that the elders entrusted into you and keep and pay it forward. All right. That's why the scripture says, buy the truth and sell it not. Take it and so other men may learn, and so they can start their journey. You see. But you got guys out here, especially in these other camps, they'll take what was taught unto them and they start changing the doctrine. And they start changing for the worse. And guess what? They're teaching their flock to do the same thing. They're teaching their flock, oh, listen, take our word for it. It's talking about this. Where the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, they go in to tell brothers, hey, listen, research it for yourself. Go in it for yourself. Do your own research, and you're going to come to the same outcome that we have come to. You see? That's what makes our apostles different from everybody else. See, all these other guys, they're just telling you to just take their word for it or believe on them. Because they're the elders, we're the elders, we're the bishops, we the heads of the camp, so you just got to take our word for it. Like, no, go do your own research. Go look up these scriptures. Go look up words and see it. And guess what? You're going to come to the same outcome as we came to. All right. So when you're teaching something, you're not just teaching it because what the elders told you. You're teaching it because you did your own research. You did your own study in it. And you're teaching truth because what? It's the truth. All right. So that's all I had on this subject. Lord willing, I hope this video was edifying. Until next time, shalom.